Hello there, how's it going? My name is Iris and I'm really happy to be here speaking with you all. Well, I am here just because I would like to show a little bit more about two projects that I have made. They are two applications that have a relationship with each other and between students, mentors, course subscriptions, scores, and things like that. I use search here for my name because I had done a mapping using some keywords, so it appeared easier here. So I have three applications here, but the focus is the two above. So the first one is more modern. It was built using the application RESTful Programming Model, the famous RAP. And you can see here it is listed and it is designed more friendly for the key user. Just a moment, let me just change here this purple design that I had done when I was practicing about custom themes in the Launchpad. I think it will be better to be seen. And the second one is a report that I transformed for the theory. So they are really cool and it was really fun to build them. The 31 is just a list of some materials that came from standards database tables that I had done a long time ago when I was starting practicing about RAP. Well, I will show all the most important details about the two applications, starting with the report one that is contained in this package. So I will pass through the most important things. So the report, of course, is very, very important. This application here, this one, is controlled by the code that I will show you now, alright? So I had made a prioritization using the transaction code that is assigned to this report. So here I have some variables declarations as well as structures declarations for my Z tables that were really useful for my logic. I also have my local class that implement the user command of the LEVs. So I can process the buttons of the LEVs like when someone click in conclude the course that is in progress, like for example here. There are some validations, of course I have to select at least one row, but well, and I can add a new course too, and there are some validations too, because I have to write something in the fields. So here we have also the details button is for mentors, alright, and not for students. I'll show later the difference between them, right? So, and I have added a new course. So like you can see, when I click in this button, a new screen open. So it's possible because I have the call screen command. I'll show the screen later too. Well, so here is where everything starts. The start of selection, the start of my logic processing, right? So first I discover if the user that is executing the program is a mentor or a student, because depending of the result, the program will be lead to different paths. So I have to perform on two students and other two mentors. So for example, in the database table, I am a student. So this code that I am selecting now is what will be executed until here. In summary, this part of the code will show me two LVs, one for concluded course and one for course still in progress. So like you can see, this is the first LV that will be showed for us here for courses that is already concluded, and this second LV is for courses not concluded yet. And I also have a message class. It is really, really cool because message class can store all your messages and also translate them to a lot of languages. And it's really a good practice to use them. So here I have now the perform for mentors, and this is the code that will be executed just to mentors, alright? So you can notice too that I put a lot of comments here. It was helpful to make me think better, but I know that in companies it's recommended to let the code more clean, and I do it just when I am practicing by myself. But well, here I will show a new LV for the mentors, alright? And like you can see here, I will use as data t-select of all students that this particular mentor has. So now I will execute here for you see. And I am a student in the database table, alright? So I can see the courses in progress and the concluded ones. It's the same thing that you can see here in the browse, of course. But of course, one is in the browse and the other is in the SAP GUI. But well, I have to select the course that I want to conclude, alright? And I also can add a new course. It is the same thing. And the same thing here and the same thing in the browse too. So if I select and click conclude, the course will be concluded successfully. And if I want to add a new course, I have to fill the fields with something. So I'll put here just course test, for example, test. And so I added a new course successfully. So here we have the course test that we already add, and it's not concluded yet. And if I come back, here we can see the course recently concluded. So basically, it is what this program do if I am a student, alright? So now let's simulate that I am a tutor. So I put a breakpoint here and let's simulate it in the debugger. We don't need to alter the database table just to see that. So I will just change the sort of the user. So we are in the debugger now, and I'll put M that represents a mentor. And I will change here, and I will execute with F8. So now I have a different screen that shows really welcome teacher 006, and I can see my students clicking this button. So it is all the students that have me like mentor. It is possible because of the relationship that I have made in the database table. So if I click in this button, see details, from that local class in the beginning of the video, I don't know if you remember, I can see all the course that this particular student is doing, and if it is conclude or not, and what course she or he is doing. And it is the same thing here in the browse, but I just have to put an external breakpoint instead of a normal one, because we have to simulate that I am a teacher, right? So we can simulate it. So if I click here again, it is loading, and I will change again the sort of user. So let's change here, and look, it opened the screen again of welcome teacher 006. And here I have the same thing. I can see the details of all students. So, well, about this application that comes from the report is that. Let me think if I can show something else, because I think it's that. Yeah, I think it's that. So now I will show this other application that have some relationship with the first one. Just a moment. This one here. Yeah, this one. but it follows a more modern design for the final user. Oh, my bad. I guess I forgot to show the classes that I used to help me. Yeah, they are really cool. The most important thing is the report, of course, but the classes is also really important because they really help us. So let me open here. So I show the program and I will show the classes, alright? I love classes. They are fantastic. The two first ones are from the SAP that I will show later. And this 4 is from the transaction application. So here we have the create course appetitive. So I have the code that makes it happen, and I have the importing parameters. The importing parameters that I receive from the user, alright? So, and it's really cool because it makes the things easier for us. I mean, I don't have to write the whole code every time that I want, like, for example, update a course. I can just call this method and give the parameters. So here I have the importing parameters for the update course method and get catalog and the returning parameter. Why returning? Because I return a select from the database table with all the courses that I have. And I also build a LAV using this course. So when someone calls this method, the person will receive a really cool LV with all the course that is included on your database table. And here we have the update punctuation and conclude course. These two methods are really cool. Why? Because like you can see, when I click in this method, conclude course, or when I call for it, I also update the punctuation the score of the user. So it's really cool because one method calls for the other one, and it's really cool. So here we have the update punctuation, and in this method I update the score of the student. So I do an update in the database table with these two variables that is calculated with my old business rule. So this is the total points and the level. Alright, and here we have the create user, update user, and assign a mentor. In the create user method, I insert in the database table using the structure that is filled with the importing parameters, like you can see here. And the update user is almost the same, but instead of using the instruction insert, I use the instruction update, like you can see. And I have also the importing parameters. And then I can create a relationship between the student and the mentor in the database table. I insert in the relationship database table the IDs of the student and of the teacher. Yes, I remember, and I was almost forgetting, but I remember that I have to show you the screen. This part is really cool. So it's loading, and we can see the screen that I had made to help the final user to add a new course. Like, for example, when I click here in add a new course, a new screen open. Alright, so this screen is the same as this screen. So everything that I had made here, like the fields, tests, buttons, it reflects in the user screen. Of course, there's a lot of code and validations behind it, but it is contained elsewhere. I think I will not show because this video is getting so long. But this another screen is that one of really welcome mentor 006. and see your students. A little bit more simple, but really cool too. Well, I think it's that. We can go now. We can go to this part. This part is so exciting. I really like it. You can see that we have the same report program here, alright? But some things is easier to handle in the SAP GUI and others that is just possible here in the Eclipse. But well, it's the same thing, and we have the classes too that is the same thing too, like you can see here. This is the same. But the most important thing here is this. This is fantastic. They are the data definitions, also known as entities. They modeling our data and makes everything easier to handle. So this application that I am showing now, this layout, this relationship between students, course, and points, all of this is possible because of the way that we build those entities. So first I will show you the database table because I forgot to show it in the SAP GUI. But well, here you can see the table of the users, and this is the dependency table between students and mentors. I am mentor of every student, but whatever, it's just an example. And here we have the score table that store the points and level of all users. So now we have the database table of subscriptions too, and I can see here all the subscriptions, their status, and which course it has a dependency. So yeah, and here we have the course database table, and I have a lot of courses registered here. And here is the most cool part. Why? Because we have, like you can notice in the nomenclature, 3 entities views of interface and 4 entities of consumption. The interface view is where we make the selects between all the databases that we want to show. It is in this kind of view that we use to store the complex joins, associations, compositions, cases, structures, conversions, and so on. And I also have to say that is because of the composition that made this dependence between the students and their courses work out. So you can notice that here I'm doing a modeling of the data that I want to expose later for the final user. It is in the interface view where the most part of the logic is contained, because the consumptions views is just a consumptions of this interface. And here we have the 4 consumptions view, and the first one is the value help. It's really cool because it helps us to find the informations in the easiest way. Like for example, you can see that I can select using the ID just to find the users in the easiest way, and I can do it with the name too. And here we have the consumptions view for the mentors, and another for courses, and another, the most important of course, for the students. This is our root entity, our main entity, and like you can see, it is so much more simple because it's just a projection from this other entity. This is the interface view. There's a lot of things there, and here is the projection view. We can have all the logic of that other entity, but we just project it here. Wow, and we have the metadata extension. Oh, I love them. They are so cute and cool. Everything that you can see in the application, I will show you here all these fields, this header, like here, this description, this beautiful layout. All of it is possible to be here because of these annotations in the metadata extension. Here you can put the header, the positions. You can hide some fields that you don't want to show. There is the label that make it possible to write friendly information about the field. Well, you can do a lot of things here, and it's really cool. And here we have the behavior definitions. The old name says everything for us. We have the behavior of interface, where we use the actions and others features, and we have the behavior of interface with all the mappings and this class. The class of the behavior, it is really important. In this class, in the local types, I implemented all the logic for my conclude button. So let's see an example. If I click in some student, like for example this one, I can see that Papiro has 3 courses still in progress, but I cannot conclude them even though they are not concluded yet. Why? Because of this validation in this method. Because I am not Papiro Feiras. My SIO name is Aluno006, so I cannot conclude. But in my user, so this is my user, and I have some courses here, and this one is already concluded, so I can't conclude this course because it is already concluded. So this validation disabled the button for me. But if the course is not concluded yet and I am the correct user, I can conclude clicking in this button. So like you can see, the course now is concluded, and the the score is also updated. I will conclude this other course again, just to see the punctuation, so please pay attention. And now we have a new punctuation and a new level, and the course is also concluded. And the course test that we have created in the beginning of this video is still in progress. Alright, Iris, but how the score was updated? Using this method for the conclude button. So like you can see here in the behavior, I have this action, let conclude, and this action is what make everything be possible. So like you can see here, this is the code which concludes and recalculated it for us. So when I click in the conclude button, is this code that is behind it. So here in this method, I have made the update of the subscription database table, and I did the calculations for points and level. Well, and here in the service definition, we have the expose of our consumptions entities view. And in the service binding, let me just close this. I read. And in the service binding is where we expose it like a OData service. So here you can see the associations. And if I click here, I'll go to the same application, but in this specific moment. So it is not deployed yet. So the difference between them is that for the other application, I had made the deploy using the Visual Studio Code, but it's almost the same thing. But this one is not deployed and this one is deployed. And if I change here the custom theme again, you can see better that they are very things. So this one is not deployed and this one is already deployed and in the launchpad and finished for the final user. I can see like that. I think it's that. Let me just think if there's something else that I would like to show, but I think I finally finished, people. Oh yes, let me show just that the two applications there's a relationship between them. You can see here the course test, and this is the unique course that is still in progress. And I have these three concluded. So if I conclude the course test, so if I conclude it here, for example, it will be concluded in the other application too, because they are mapping to each other. It's really cool. So I have 4 conclude course now. So like you can see here in the launchpad, the application, if I charge it, you can see that we have 4 concluded courses now. Really cool, huh? I think it's cool, and it was really fun to build it. I will change again for my custom theme, my purple custom theme. And it's that. Thank you so much for watching this video. And I do apologize about my English. I'm still learning and improving it, but I really hope it could be understandable and maybe useful for who is watching. And please give your comment about what else would you like to see here. So thank you so much and have a really nice day. Bye there.